Hey, Sammy, you know the difference between reviewing evidence like this, like we did way back then, you know, and then now looking into a computer? It leaves you with a free hand for coffee, and you're going to need it.
Hey guys, Tim Ardwine here, long haired ghost hunter, author of Ghost Hunting Getting Started and Hot in South Florida. Big news, new team, we're excited. Welcome, Ghost Hunting Getting Started, the series, episode 9. If you're new here, welcome, thank you. What you guys meet, Sammy? What happened to the bling we bought for your belly ring? Oh, it turned green. Told you. Got to spend that money, man. All right. This episode, we're going to be talking about reviewing evidence. Okay. Now, reviewing evidence, there's 4 rules. 1, the client's waiting for answers. So don't sit on the evidence. If you find you have delays, keep the client in the loop. You can always say something like, hey, we got some EVPs, but we're waiting for video. Okay. 2, if you're going to download, any evidence, just make sure you have permission from the homeowner or the person running the business. Privacy's everything. Okay. 3, reviewing evidence. Be patient. It takes time. It takes practice. It's a learned skill. But if you ever have doubts of anything like an EVP, a video, ask for a second opinion. Veterans do it all the time. I've asked dozens of times for people to listen to an EVP to see what it is. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. 4, when you're reviewing evidence, look for verbal markers. And what I mean by that is when you're investigating and you're gathering evidence, just document what's going on. If you're doing an EVP in a room and you hear outside voices, say it. If you're inadvertently standing in front of a camera, when you discover it, don't just dart away. Say something like, oh, that was me. Sorry, I blocked the camera, because that happens. If you have to cross in front of a camera during the investigation, just say, this is Tim. I have to cross the camera in the master bedroom. It just makes reviewing evidence a lot easier, a lot quicker, because then you don't have to chase down people and say, hey, did you remember standing in front of a camera? It makes it quicker, and therefore the evidence gets done quicker for the client. All right. Now, I don't want to sound harsh, but if you're doing this for the right reasons, I think, helping the client and find some answers, not just to slap something up on YouTube, then you're going to have several sources of evidence to look at. All right. So we'll go through it briefly, then we'll talk about them. You got personal experiences. Excuse me. Sorry. Had a soda. Personal experiences. Did the equipment respond appropriately? And you got pictures, videos, audio. All right. So let's go back. Personal experiences. Did any of your team or yourself see, feel, smell, hear anything? Okay. It doesn't always have to be paranormal. Just document as part of evidence of what you experienced, because it might be what the client experienced. And if it's not paranormal, then you can debunk it. Right. Next. Did your equipment respond appropriately? And what I mean by that is like, if someone's here, make this go off. If it lights up, oh, you're here though. Okay. That's part of evidence. Okay. Pictures. Now remember the old tips. If you're using like an old digital camera, camera phone, remember you got the white flash. So you always, when you're reviewing evidence, you got to check to see, is it a false orb? Is it a false mist, ectoplasm? Okay. Now, about orbs, we talked about orbs briefly. Remember, orbs, the theory is they're balls of energy. So a true orb will have kind of like, it'll look like energy inside, like it has its own little center of energy. False orbs are usually gassy, right? Now, you also have to remember when you are reviewing pictures, once you start enlarging them, zooming in on them, you're kind of distorting the pixelation. So you might be distorting the picture. So just keep that in mind. From what I understand now, the technology has come a long way on cameras, camera phones, where it takes a lot to distort it. But just be aware of when you do that, you might be knocking the picture off a little. All right. Next, videos. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, videos are going to be your most drawn out review because they're not like EVPs where you're going to, ask 2 questions, do a playback, and see what you got. You're going to run a video for the whole investigation. Now, if you got the investigation's 4 hours, but you got 2 or 3 cameras, now you have to multiply that. And remember when I said practice and patience, you're going to have to train yourself to look at every corner of the video, look in the middle, see if there's any changes. Did something move? Did something get lighter, darker? Just train yourself for it. Now, I know it's time consuming, but I'm telling you, if you catch something on video, it's mind blowing. If it's good evidence, it's mind blowing, and it's well worth the effort. So don't get discouraged. Okay. Next up, audio, EVPs. Now, remember, you can put a recorder down all night if you like. That's good. And you have time to listen to that. As long as your primary recorder is one where you're asking 1 to 2 questions doing the playback, because you can download those a lot quicker and get back to the client quicker with them. Okay. Now, for me, I always download my recordings into some software. I use Wavelab. I'm just comfortable with it. Some people use Audacity, and people use other software. I'm just comfortable with it when Wavelab. It has frequency spikes. It's easier for me to share it and download and stuff like that. Okay. I like it because of frequency spikes. Remember, the human voice is 20 hertz and above. So anything below that in the frequency spikes, you got to really pay attention to. So you can isolate it, loop it, listen to it over and over. Now, just some advice. The software will let you add in reverb, echo, it'll let you amplify it. Now, if you do any of that, remember, I don't use the software to manipulate it. I'm just there to see. But if I do add anything, I bring that up. I disclaim that right away. Because eventually someone will catch on that this one EVP was probably amplified. Okay. Just own up to it in the beginning and just be honest about it. Okay. And when I put out an EVP, I will put the time frame of the EVP. And I'll say what I think it says. And then I will ask for opinions. Because that way it doesn't look like I'm trying to sell someone on the EVP. I'm just saying, this is what I got. If I did anything, this is what I did. What do you think? Okay. That way you're just honest with your evidence and you're just looking for opinions. Now, when someone gives you an opinion, listen to it. Because I've changed my mind several times on what other people thought. I'm going, yeah, it really does sound like that. You have to remember the brain has matrixing. Okay, like, the cloud thing, I'll see a dog and you'll see a cow. There's hearing matrixing as well. So just be honest with your recording. You got all this evidence. You got the experiences, the equipment, pictures, video, audio. But now you've got to take into account into your pile of evidence, you got to take into account what the client called you for, their concerns. And then you also got to take into account, did they confirm anything at the investigation? Like, did you get a specific EVP and you asked them about it and they confirmed it, right? You have to take all that into account. And then you have to remember that not all ghostly activity is connected to the present residents of the location. There's history of the property. Did something happen on the property? We've done places where it's actually been a Seminole or Tequestan battle zone. Okay, did something happen not that far back on the property? So you have to take that into account too. History is real important because if you can confirm history up with evidence, that's pretty good because that's documented. All right. So now you're going to take this pile of evidence, and you're not going to find every answer. But what you're trying to do is whittle it down to get some specifics. And then you talk to the client, say, this is the evidence we got. Download the evidence, share it with them. This is what we got. Then talk to them. What do you think? Sometimes they're comfortable with it. Like if you found maybe the possibility of a relative, they're comfortable with that. And then sometimes they're saying, well, I'm not really sure, and you're not really sure. So you have to do a follow-up investigation. Now, follow-up investigations it depends on what you're getting, if you're getting any closer to it. They could be another full investigation. It depends. Okay. Now, remember we talked about if you don't get anything or you get very minimal, you don't give up on the client. You always leave the door open. You can say, listen, I want to come back and do a follow-up, but I want to come back when you're having the activity. So ask them to keep a log for a few days. You may have to come back in the afternoon. You may have to come back at 2 a.m, whenever they're having the activity. Because at the end of the day, you want the client to know that you did everything possible to look for some answers. All right. So just remember, reviewing evidence, it takes time, practice, and just always be honest with your evidence. Okay. Remember I say, run an honest investigation. The client will appreciate it, even if you don't get anything. All right. So, as most of you know, I am a retired paramedic. So we are going to have our tip of the week.
All right, let's close her up. Relax. Let's catch up. Can I get some fries? Oh, yeah, by the way, here's your first aid tip of the week.
I got to change it. I know. I'm working on a new one. Okay, tip of the week. Now we're getting into the medical side of it. We've talked about trauma. We talked controlled bleeding, dressings, splinting, things like that. We're going to get on the medical side. And it's end of August, so it's hot out there. I know South Florida, it's hot, it's humid, it's miserable. So our first medical is we're going to talk about heat emergencies. Now there's two major heat emergencies. Another one is heat cramps, but that's, you get your muscles get overworked, they cramp up. A lot of athletes get this. But tonight we're going to talk about heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Heat stroke is a true emergency. Call rescue right away. Okay? So, heat exhaustion. Now, heat exhaustion, they're going to have muscle cramps. They're going to be dizzy. They're going to be thirsty. They might be a little nauseous. They're going to have a rapid pulse, some rapid breathing. The big clue with heat exhaustion is profuse sweating. Okay? That's your big clue. Okay? With all that other stuff. Now, what you're going to do for this person is you're going to move them to a cooler area, of course. You're going to put wet towels on their face, chest, limbs. Okay? Loosen their clothing. Okay? If they're not vomiting, if there's no chance of some, aspiration, you can give them some cool water or sports drink. Don't let them gulp it, just little sips. And they should improve. If they don't improve, call rescue. Okay. Next, heat stroke, true emergency. Okay. Everything's going to be compounded. They're going to be irritable. They're going to rapid shallow breathing, rapid weak pulse, nauseous, vomiting, possible seizures, possible loss of consciousness. The big clue is, though, no sweating. Okay, their sweat system is just shut down. So what that means is that if they're not sweating, their internal temperature's shooting up. Call rescue right away. In the meantime, get them to a cooler area, remove their clothing, okay, put wet towels, neck, chest, face, limbs, but also put ice to the underarms, the wrist area, and groin. Call rescue right away. It's a true emergency. All right. So that's your tip of the week. I hope you never need it, but if you do, you got it. Okay. Let me change something real quick. Okay. So I can be found at any of these contact sites. My phone number is there too. Big announcement. It's been a big announcement for a couple weeks. Haunted South Florida. We've been out a few times. We're having a ball. We're out investigating. The other night we were at a place and it was just a crazy night. So we're having a good time with it. We're gelling, getting together. If you guys are in the South Florida area and you think you're having activity, reach out to hauntedSouthFlorida@gmail.com or just call me. We don't charge for investigations. We're just there to find some answers for you. All right. If you want to take part in the classes, the next one's the September 28th. Okay. The new twist on this is that classes, part of the proceeds will go to a charitable organization, local charitable organization, as well as the location. Okay. And what we do is we teach for like an hour. We talk about investigations, techniques, talk about the tools, and then we break right into an investigation. Okay. Learn it and do it. And you're the investigator. You're going to be able to handle the tools and do all that kind of stuff. Okay. If you guys want to do anything private, we've done birthday theme, we've done anniversary theme. Contact me. Okay. So you're going to be helping, the locations and some local charities. All right. So what? Yeah, we're going out this weekend. Oh, you can't go. Why? Oh, football season. Okay. What's your favorite team? Oh, okay. We don't talk college football, right? Okay. That's cool. So, if you guys out there investigating, be safe, be careful. And remember, like I said, always run an honest investigation. The client appreciates it. Okay. So be safe out there. And remember, next week, 9:00, Wednesday night, we'll be back. Okay. Contact me if you need anything. If you have questions about any investigation or tools or anything like that, contact me. Okay. So we see you guys next week. Sammy, enjoy the games, man. Thanks a lot.